Hey, welcome back to Wake Up with Natalie Rose, the channel that helps you think less about food in your body and more about truly living. Today, we're talking about something that has been getting out of control and has taken over social media, the rise of skinny culture. You've probably noticed it, the how to be skinny content, the what I eat in a day to be skinny, and thin influencers starting off every video with a body check. It's everywhere, and it's not about health, it's about control. And here's the kicker. Diet culture was originally developed by men to keep women small. But today, it's not just men enforcing it. It's women who are now the face of this culture, profiting off of other women's insecurities while keeping themselves small in more ways than one. First, let's define skinny culture. It's not about wanting to be healthy, motivating others to be healthier, or even the pursuit of healthy weight loss. That's not what we're seeing here, even though that's what some of these creators will claim to be doing. No, skinny culture goes far beyond those simple ideas.
How to be skinny, how to get skinny, be skinny.
Being skinny is the best thing for me in the whole world.
I'm happier now that I'm skinnier.
Adapting a skinny mindset.
You're obsessed with being skinny. You know what I say back? I say, I love that you know me so well. Not sickly skinny, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean?
Huh? It's about an obsession with the idea of being thin at all costs, under the guise that thinness will make you happy, confident, and powerful. And that's a trap. And skinny culture isn't new. It's just diet culture rebranded, but this time led by women profiting off of other women's insecurities. We're going to break it down today, expose the harm, and talk about how you can shield yourself from the noise. Let's rewind for a bit and talk about where all this came from. Diet culture didn't just appear overnight. It has deep historical roots. It goes way back to the Victorian era, where thinness and fragility were seen as symbols of femininity and class. Women were physically constrained by corsets, squeezed into a version of desirable thinness that reinforced their role in society as passive, small, and delicate. This idea was baked into the very fabric of society. Fast forward to the 20th century and we're introduced to weight loss fads. The cigarette diet from the 20s. How about Weight Watchers, which promised a better life if you just kept losing weight by counting points? Men in positions of power, advertisers, doctors, and even politicians dictated what was considered healthy and desirable, and it always fed back to being super thin. Throughout all of this, media and advertising made sure to keep us distracted with products promising the ability to shrink ourselves, appetite suppressants, meal replacements, and later strict and rigid weight loss programs. The message was loud and clear. Women's worth was tied to their size. This isn't just about aesthetics. Naomi Wolf said it best in The Beauty Myth. Our cultural fixation on female thinness is not an obsession with female beauty, but an obsession with female obedience. Think about that for a second. Diet culture and skinny culture aren't just about looking a certain way. It's about maintaining a facade of control and discipline. Keeping women preoccupied with shrinking our bodies keeps us distracted from real power, autonomy, and influence. Instead of using our energy to step into our full potential, we're told to focus on how we look and how little space we should take up. Here's where it gets tricky. The shift has happened. Diet culture has evolved into what we now call skinny culture. And it's not about promoting wellness or even about healthy weight management. It's about one thing: being skinny. Not only that, it's women profiting off of other women's insecurities. And a lot of them aren't even hiding behind the vague term of health. They're outright telling you, this is how to be skinny. I enjoy being obsessed with being skinny. Being skinny makes me happy. But here's the even bigger problem. Just like in the past, the messaging isn't encouraging or empowering. It is downright cruel.
I have something mean to say, and I'm going to say it. There are way too many people who are so focused on not gaining weight on Thanksgiving, when the reality is they should be way more focused on every other day of their fucking life. They're being a fat ass every other day, and they're worried about Thanksgiving. I told you I was going to be mean, because I am mean, because it's the blunt truth that you need. Get up off your ass, get your steps in, go drink water.
If you have done nothing yet felt disgusting, what the fuck are you doing?
You know what? I would recommend it to anybody. Being skinny has been my lifelong goal. Being skinny has been my Roman Empire. I'm not ashamed to admit that. I think it's bizarre and absurd that people are afraid to say that you get hate for saying that. There's people on this app that stuff their face, that lay around all day, that don't do nothing all day, and they're praised. But then the women that take care of themselves,
It's not neutral, it's not positive, it's not encouraging, it's mean. They mock people who aren't thin, belittle those who are struggling, and normalize cruelty disguised as tough love. They claim to be helping others get skinny, but all they're doing is reinforcing internalized shame and perpetuating a culture of judgment and hate. Real help doesn't come with cruelty. And I'm here to tell you, it's not empowerment. It's bullying. It's what I call mean girl energy. And guess what? This is a learned behavior. Their own internalized shame is leaking out. They act confident, but what they're really doing is demonstrating insecurity and fear. Fear of losing control and fear of not living up to an impossible standard that was never about them in the first place. Now let's talk about why this is such a massive problem. It's not just about the way they treat others. It's about the psychological damage that's done when we normalize this kind of behavior. These influencers may seem confident, but let's dig deeper. Is this really confidence? As far as I know, real confidence doesn't require tearing others down. It doesn't require putting people's bodies under a microscope and making them feel insignificant. This type of behavior comes from a deep place of insecurity. It's not confidence, it's fear disguised as superiority. These women are the epitome of what I call the mean girl effect. They bully, belittle, and put others down in the name of helping, but when you look closely, you see the self-loathing underneath the facade. Would you want to be friends with someone who talks about others' bodies like that? Would you feel safe around them? No, because that's not true self-assurance. That's shame wearing a mask. And here's the real kicker. They've become gatekeepers of a system designed to keep women small, physically, emotionally, and mentally.
Your stomach is the size of your fist, so literally stop stuffing it like a Thanksgiving turkey.
How about we stop glorifying obese people and overweight people and start glorifying the people that are actually fucking putting in work day after day to maintain a healthy BMI?
Listen to them. They sound tired and hangry and likely not able to think about much else besides food and weight. We've been sold this idea that self-hatred is a motivator, that if we just dislike our bodies enough, we'll finally have the discipline to stay thin. But has hating yourself ever actually made you happy? Has it led to lasting peace in your body? Or has it just led to years of yo-yo dieting, insecurity, and exhaustion? The truth is, you don't have to punish yourself to be healthy, and you don't have to shrink yourself to be worthy. And let's be honest, most of these skinny influencers are just mean. Their whole message is built on shaming others. They claim they're helping you, but how? By bullying you? By making you feel like you're failing if you're not starving and hungry? I'm telling you, it's not empowerment. It's brainwashing you into being a mean girl. These influencers and diet pushers aren't actually telling you to be healthy. They're telling you to chase an impossible standard. They shame you for not being skinny enough, but then when you finally do get there, it's okay, but now you need to be toned. You need to get rid of that cellulite. Don't let yourself go. Make sure your face stays snatched. Are you aging? Fix that. You're on your period. That's not an excuse to not get your steps in. It's a trap. You'll never be done because the whole point of this industry is to keep you coming back for their likes and views or to sell you whatever the next thing is. And that's why they keep coming back, making these videos about how to be skinny, what to eat to be skinny, because they know that it's controversial. It gets a lot of views. They generate an income on every single video, even if you're not buying a product from them. So let this be a reminder that bodies are diverse. You are meant to have a different shape and size than someone else. And don't get me wrong, I am not trying to say that all weight loss is wrong. I am not saying that it's not okay to have aesthetic goals or to prefer your body to look and feel a certain way, or that there aren't healthy habits that you can engage in to feel better in and about your body. What I am saying is that there is a way to be healthy, strong, and nourished without starving yourself or being cruel or judgmental. Because what you hear in a lot of these videos is, I would never want to be fat again. I have to be skinny. You have to be skinny to be healthy. Being fat is the worst thing in the world. And that is the language and the belief system that is so harmful and damaging. And I've seen where this leads. As a therapist and coach specializing in disordered eating, I've worked with women in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s who have either relapsed into an eating disorder or developed one because they thought this was a phase. They thought, why not make the most of my body while I'm young? They thought the same thing these influencers are saying, which is that you have to be skinny to be happy. And you know what's heartbreaking? Most of them say the exact same thing to me. But Natalie, I was always known as the small one, the healthy one. I can't change now. Who am I if I'm not the skinny one? I don't know who I am if I'm not thin. The message doesn't leave you. Skinny culture isn't temporary. Being skinny and beautiful becomes your identity and it takes over your world. They spent decades defining their worth by their body and now they feel trapped. Trapped in guilt for all the moments they missed. Sitting out of family dinners, skipping birthday cake, avoiding photos on vacation because of food fears and body image struggles. The regret is overwhelming, but so is the shame of admitting that they wasted so much time being emotionally absent from important moments due to worrying about their body and their size. And this is why I'm speaking up, because skinny culture isn't just a trend. It's a pipeline into lifelong obsession and suffering. This is what the influencers pushing how to be skinny aren't telling you. It doesn't stop. There is no finish line. It doesn't just go away when you reach your ideal size. It just keeps taking. This is not freedom. It is a lifetime stolen. And here's the truth. You do not have to participate in this. Yes, I know it's everywhere. But just because skinny culture is loud, it doesn't mean you have to listen or engage. When you see this kind of content, I want you to ask yourself, does this make me feel empowered or insecure? Is this coming from real health advice or just someone projecting their insecurities and experiences and fears? Who benefits from me feeling bad about myself? The best way to reject this harmful narrative, refuse to let it take up space in your mind and don't act on it. Curate your social media, block or unfollow anyone who makes you feel like you're not enough or leaves you with a feeling of angst. Ask yourself how this person makes you feel. Would you go out for a coffee with this person? Would you want to spend a significant amount of time with this person? Because the more you listen to them and their harsh judgment, their language becomes your inner dialogue. So be careful who you take advice from and pay attention to how you speak to yourself. Notice when self-criticism is louder than self-respect and switch it. And when you feel the pull to shrink yourself, ask, who is this really for? Is this for me or is this for others? And how is this going to help me long term? Now let's pause. Get out your journal or something to write with. I want to go even deeper with you. In honor of Wake Up Wednesday, I'm going to walk you through some reflection questions. Number 1, who do you want to be? Not just in your body, in your character, your relationships, and in your life. Do you want to look back and see a life defined by food rules, mirror checks, and shrinking yourself? Are you okay with reducing yourself and others to a body? What does it say about our culture that we've made thinness a personality trait? That we're willing to be mean, judgmental, and exclusionary in the name of being smaller? And here's the big existential question. What is the meaning of your life? Seriously, what do you want to be known for? What does life mean to you? What is it all about? When people look back and talk about you, do you want them to say, she was so disciplined and skinny? Or do you want them to say, she was really kind. She was always so present. She was full of life. You can't live a full life if your biggest goal is to take up less space in it. The more you tell yourself that being skinny will make you happy, you miss out on all the other things in life that could make you happy. The more you tell yourself that your body is the most important thing, that being skinny is powerful, the more you diminish your internal power, all of the other power that you could have. And remember, the goal of diet culture was never to keep women small just in terms of size. It was to keep us distracted, quiet, and preoccupied with shrinking ourselves instead of making an impact on the world. The most radical thing you could do is stop playing the game, because women deserve so much more than to be trapped in a cycle of shame, guilt, and hunger. Okay, I know this was a fiery one, but this topic matters. If this resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you're ready to block out the noise, join my community on socials. Follow my podcast, subscribe to my YouTube, subscribe to my newsletter. You don't have to do this alone. Thank you so much for listening. I'd love to know your thoughts. So don't hesitate to leave a comment below. Talk to you next time.